Uh, I want to let everyone know that we are recording today's session, and those who registered will receive the presentation via email, and it'll also be shared to those who've missed the opportunity to be with us today. But I'm going to kick us off with an official welcome. We're at just over 70 people with us today, and I suspect that number will continue to rise as we go, but in the interest of time, we will get started. So hello, my name is Allison Tratner. I am the Executive Director of the New Jersey State Council on the Arts. I know we have many arts people here with us today, some whom I know, some I haven't met yet. Welcome to all of you, and thank you for joining us. I'm very excited that you're here. We're all very excited that you're here. You're going to hear from a host of my colleagues today. And just to give you a really brief welcome, my job here is to tell you why we, the State Arts Council, are doing this, why we thought it was important to work with our partners at the Historical Commission and others to bring this information to you. So we, for those who don't know, are an agency of state government inside the Department of State under Lieutenant Governor Tahisha Way. And there's a few very important agencies, we call them sister state agencies, that are with us in the department, and the Historical Commission is one of them. And so we have the opportunity in many different ways to partner with the Historical Commission and our colleagues there, because it's no surprise, the arts and history go hand in hand in so many ways. And the 250th anniversary is a really great opportunity, a unique opportunity for the arts organizations and the history organizations to collaborate, or even for arts organizations to contribute to our state's commemoration of this important milestone. And so we'll talk about those things today to really get us started and create really a broader context for what we'll talk about today. I'm happy to introduce my colleague and friend, Sarah Curitin, the Executive Director of the New Jersey Historical Commission. Sarah, take it away.
Thank you, Allison. And let me add my welcome to everybody. It's absolutely, it's terrific to be here with all of you today. And I want to add my thanks to all of you for joining us. Today is something we've been looking forward to for a very, very long time, because we want to warmly welcome the arts community into the commemoration of our nation's 250th anniversary. So let me add that as a public historian, I have had to mark many anniversaries, and people, some people love them, some people don't love them. And the truth is that when the nation turns 250 years old, hopefully, there's nothing markedly different between when it turns 249 years old. But these anniversaries do capture the public's imagination. And because of that, they offer these tremendous opportunities for us to really raise awareness and to engage new audiences in what we do. And as Allison alluded to, history and the arts are so intimately intertwined. And we hope we give you some wonderful examples of that in our program this afternoon. And so with that, I'd love to dive right into our presentation. And I'd like to do that by introducing Dr. Mark Lawrence, who is our Chief Public Historian. And if you haven't met Mark, it's your lucky day to meet him today. He's really been heading up our RevolutionNJ activities on the commission side. And Mark's going to get us started on the presentation we have for you. Mark.
Thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you, Allison, for the introductions. We have a packed schedule today, and I just like to really just reiterate that this is the beginning of a conversation. So there's going to be a lot thrown at you today, and we really hope that you continue the conversation with us, and we want to make ourselves available to you to help you find your pathway into the 250th. Just so it's a packed room. We have about 97 participants now, which is awesome and great. And if folks can introduce themselves in the chat, we specifically want to know where you're coming from and what your favorite use of art to explore history is. And that would be super nice just to see who we have in the room. Today, we're going to be really looking at RevolutionNJ, a bird's eye view of what it is and what the actual opportunity is for the history and arts communities to collaborate. And then we're going to go over a little bit of the resources we've created to help organizations get involved in the 250th, and a special shout out to our public art program that we're developing with the Arts Council. And then we have some great guest speakers from Roxy Ballet and Luna Stage who are going to talk about their own journey into how they've used the history in their work. And we want to save some time at the end for some Q&A. So 250th, 1776 to 2026. This is going to be a big moment in the state of New Jersey. Apart from the statewide initiative that we're representing, RevolutionNJ, there's going to be the World Cup going on, the Sail Forth 250 initiative. There's going to be the Homecoming 250th initiative, on top of all of our other concert series that we have on an annual basis, the county and state fairs. My birthday is going to be that year too. We have a whole bunch of different things going on in the state with a lot of folks who are going to be exploring all of the different cultural offerings we have. We are super excited at this as an opportunity to increase heritage tourism, to renew interest in history, to demonstrate how the arts are involved in all of it. We're going to be having folks who obviously live here, visitors from neighboring states. Due to the World Cup and other sorts of larger scale programs, there's going to be a lot of international tourists. We expect folks to be really going through all of the different tourism funnels that we have, including the different regions that we advertise in our tourism plan, but also tapping into the different resorts, attractions, and historic sites. We're home to so many of them. New Jersey has over 150 Revolutionary War sites and 58 national landmarks. And a lot of these are open to the public today. What we're trying to do in time for the 250th is make sure that everyone's able to serve this increased demand that we're going to be seeing from visitors. While they're here, they're not just going to be going to all of our amazing parks and sites. They're also going to be going to attractions, different museums, our beaches. They're going to take part in all these recreational activities and shopping. This is taken from our partners at the Travel and Tourism website. We know that the 250th, as Sarah was mentioning, is going to be an opportunity in which a lot of different aspects of New Jersey are going to be activated. I'm going to pass it off to Sarah, who's going to talk a little bit more about how much of this opportunity actually has to do with art.
Thanks, Mark. Well, I think it is not an overstatement to say that the world has probably never marked an anniversary during which art did not play a major role. Any of you who remember the bicentennial, as in fact I do, will know that there were arts projects and featured arts experiences that marked that anniversary. And it's critically important that our residents and our visitors to New Jersey have that opportunity for the 250th as well. Because the reality is, all of you in arts organizations are actually the nation's most critical history teachers. You could see from the data that we're sharing here, and I think I'd be curious to know how many of you might be surprised by that statement. But you can see from the data we're sharing here that twice as many people learn from film about the past rather than a historic site visit. What you all are doing with many of your programs is teaching about the past, and you're teaching about it in a way that really engages larger audiences and can spark imagination and creativity. I hope some of you had an opportunity to read that quote from Steven Spielberg at the beginning, where he, in fact, talks about, for him and his work, looking at the past has really provided him with the richest material for his films. And you can see that, you all, I don't need to tell you this, you can see that in so many other disciplines within the arts community. You can see that in visual arts, in dance, you're going to hear about that in a minute, certainly in the spoken word and in other ways. So, and here's a great slide. In fact, I jumped the gun there. Thank you, Mark, for advancing to show that all of these different modes in which all of you work are ripe for exploring the past, and in fact have worked extremely effectively. So you play a huge role. You're teaching everybody about the past, and we want to be sure to showcase that and bring that into this great celebration and commemoration, primarily commemoration that we're looking forward to. So, as you can see, we are looking to you and inviting you warmly to join us in what we have. We are planning, and we want you to be part of that planning experience. So we want to share with you a little bit of the foundations that we've set in place for Revolution NJ. So here's our mission statement. And I hope you focus on a few really key words in this. And one of those is right there at the beginning, and that's community engagement. We really have started from 5 years ago when we began planning to start by listening to our communities first and hearing what they were interested in, what spoke to them, what they had questions and an eagerness to learn more about. And we are now in the process of applying that to several different areas in our life here in New Jersey, including education, tourism, and scholarship. Now, the second word I want to pull out of this to really highlight is that diverse in the last sentence there. Our number one goal, you're going to see it in just a minute. In fact, we can even move to that next. Oh, and then we'll come back to it. Here we go. The very first goal, in fact, that we've identified for Revolution NJ is to tell a diverse and inclusive story about America's past. That's when I've talked to colleagues around the country, as I've had the great opportunity to do over the last few years, I think that's what marks what I'm hearing from around the country is, and a big difference, I think, from the bicentennial, is a real commitment from the history community to tell as diverse and broad and complex a story of the past as we possibly can. And you can see the other other goals that we've articulated for this anniversary there too. Key amongst those is growing the capacity of our history organizations so they can better serve audiences. Heritage tourism, in which arts play a great role too. We are working on building that infrastructure, as well as focusing on history in K-12 schools and university, and increasing public and private funding for history. So Mark, if you don't mind, we'll go back to that slide I skipped over so that I make sure that I tell everyone that Revolution NJ, which is the state's commemorative initiative for the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States, it is a partnership between the New Jersey Historical Commission, an agency of state government, and Crossroads of the American Revolution, which is a private nonprofit organization with a stewardship responsibility for New Jersey's National Heritage Area. It is the only National Heritage Area in the country that is, in fact, exclusively focused on the American Revolution. So within our partnership, we've divided the responsibility for tasks in the way you can see there on the screen. We at the Commission are focused more on programmatic work, whereas our partners on the Crossroads side are working on fundraising and communications and marketing. So here's another key point that we want to make sure we emphasize to all of you. In fact, this illustrates one of the biggest stumbling blocks we sometimes encounter with folks when we talk about getting involved. And that is that this is not only about the American Revolution. We really want to warmly encourage everyone to be involved, because it's not just about what happened in 1776, but it's about the foundation of our nation and how those founding ideals of the American Revolution have played out over the whole 250 years that followed. So there are many, many pathways into being involved with Revolution NJ. And here we got in this slide a number of different suggestions for you. Highlighting diverse stories in your community. There are also dozens and hundreds, actually, of history organizations around the state that we hope you will connect with to build programming and networks and collaboration. Promoting that heritage tourism to community is the 250th gives you a great opportunity to do that. And of course, connecting with schools and with other members of the community in exciting and innovative ways. Those are other things that we're certainly encouraging as we move forward with our planning. So now, I think I'm turning it over. Oh, no, I'm doing this slide, Mark, and then I'll turn to you. We have established, and we want to make sure you're aware of this, we've established 2 programs for Revolution NJ. And all of this information, by the way, you can find on the Revolution NJ website, which is at revnj.org, as you'll see there on the screen. We've established 2 programs that are designed to really generate that engagement across the state. Because while we will be doing some programming from the state level through RevNJ, the bulk of our focus is on really encouraging communities around New Jersey to develop programs and get involved. And these 2 strategies are among the tools that we're using to do that. So first of all, we're encouraging municipalities and counties to become Revolution NJ communities. And there's a very simple form they can fill out to apply to do that. And then secondly, we are encouraging groups, just like all of you who've joined our webinar today, to become proud partners with Revolution NJ. Again, there's a very simple form to fill out at that link, and we provide you with the logo to use in your programming, and we will be helping you to promote the activities that you're planning for the anniversary. So we really encourage you to look into both those programs, both for your communities and also for your organizations. And now I think I'm going to hand it back to Mark.
Thank you so much, Sarah. We have a number of resources and opportunities already developed. We've been working on this since 2018. And as Sarah mentioned, a lot of our initial outreach to communities across the state was very bottom up. This helped us create the number of resources, which I'm going to go over today. These are located on our website under revnj.org/resources. There you'll see a whole list of all of our professional development webinars and resource lists that we have created up to date, including some highlights which we have here bulleted. The Big Ideas Concept for the 250th. These are webinars with leading scholars in the field talking about concepts that we're still grappling with. These are those revolutionary ideals that Sarah was mentioning that have over the last 250 years been contested, fought for, and sometimes still contested and fought for. Our Bundles of Silences video webinar series takes each of our interpretive themes. We have 7, which we hope that folks take a deeper look at, and provides case studies and a deeper dive into those themes. So we have things such as political participation, the movement of people, revolutionary ideas, inclusion, exclusion, the historical process, political participation, which I meant, and then property and sovereignty was the last one. These are all ideas that we hope folks who are trying to create any sort of work of art take to heart and try to tackle and ask different questions that have the public look at those themes in a different way or approach it from a way that they might have not thought about. Another big resource that we're developing is our placemaking series. We have a couple of webinars, and there's going to be additional webinars coming this year. We see placemaking as the perfect vehicle for getting history, heritage tourism, the arts, civic engagement, development, all into one big tent. We're hoping that a lot of communities that sign up for Revolution NJ start exploring placemaking. You'll see also a list of suggested readings. These are all New Jersey-based readings and also nationally based readings about perspectives on the American Revolution and these ideals. We're hoping that you take a closer look at our strategic and interpretive frameworks. We have both versions, which are larger documents, but then also 1 or 2 pages for each one of them to help you find your pathway in. And then something that I'm going to talk a little bit more about today is our handbook that we released earlier last year. And then on our website, you can also take a look at our news, blogs, and upcoming event calendar that we're going to be releasing this year. These are all ways in which you can find your own pathway in and resources that help you develop programming for RevolutionNJ. As I mentioned, placemaking is one of the key pivot points that we're hoping for a people-centered approach to the 250th. We're asking folks to think about the power of place and what does it mean to create programming around community. We see it as a holistic approach to the public humanities that brings heritage tourism together with a focus on integrating communities, the cultural assets that we know this state has, and making sure that these are all taken into account when there are larger development and planning efforts going on. The idea is to create bottom-up programming so that there's sort of a paradigm shift in the way we think about history, so that folks look at the commemorative period in a way that provides a deeper sense of time, sort of a different type of historical literacy for approaching the present. And we think by doing programming in this sort of manner, it's going to be a little bit more meaningful and impactful for residents and visitors. So on our website, we have an interactive version of the handbook, but also a downloadable PDF. We are planning on putting these into print, hopefully by the end of this year. This is a living document as it currently is, with a bunch of resources and approaches that we think are the way public humanities and public history should approach this commemorative period. You'll see that there's an emphasis on participatory work, really thinking about how to create inclusive, collaborative, engaging places and spaces so that we're bringing new faces to the table, gathering their input and making projects with them, not for them. Here's a couple of excerpts from it. These are ideas that we put at the end to sort of give folks a template to work off of. So, you know, the idea here on the left is an arts organization wants to take part in RevolutionNJ. So they start looking at the frameworks and the interpretive themes, and they decide that they want to create a program that celebrates the diverse musical traditions found in New Jersey. So they take a look at this handbook and they start thinking about how they can incorporate people into the planning process. What would a concert series look like that would explore some of these themes? How would you be able to highlight the various cultures that we know live here? And then you would look at things like the movement of people, inclusion, exclusion, and start creating programming that brings them into it, and really takes a look at the 250th from the lens of music, from the lens of sound. The municipal program on the right is an idea for if you were to do something like a public arts installation. Let's say a local municipality wanted to create a contest for the 250th to see what ideas they should go with to create a commemorative mural. So they announce a public project and they get artists and residents involved together to create a new installation in a public space. These are the sort of types of programming we're hoping folks, not just the arts community, but around the state, start considering ways in which they can activate their local community to create programs that really are meaningful and speak to them and have them really reflect on the 250 years. Our other thing that we do at RevolutionNJ is not only do we create these resources and opportunities, we're also trying to create programs that you can plug into already so that you don't have to worry about creating something from scratch, right? A lot of the themes and things that we're discussing in the previous slides, we feel like most organizations in this state already are dealing with those themes in some way. So it's more of like a retooling. We don't expect everyone to reinvent the wheel for the 250th. But we also want to offer opportunities where if it makes sense for your organization to sort of plug in, that you're aware of them. One of these is the public arts program that we're working with together with the State Council on the Arts and Monument Lab. The idea behind this one is to create temporary public installations throughout the community that engage them with the complexity of history. We have a link here, which is our SurveyMonkey link. We're trying to gather around right now just who would be interested in taking part in this so that we can create a package proposal to Monument Lab And that way we can find funding and get this moving so that by 2025, 2026, these installations are going to be installed throughout the state. There's also at a national level more funding being available for the 250th. Our colleague Danielle Bursk at the Arts Council forwarded this grant opportunity from the NEA. They are partnering with America 250, which is sort of the national umbrella for the 250th, in creating funding for art projects that educate and engage communities about the past. The deadline application are listed below, February 15 and 2024 to July, and also on July 11, 2024. And we can throw the link in the chat for everyone to take a look at. But the idea here is that we are also looking to try to find funding for projects. And we have our program funding for the Historical Commission, but there's funding all over the state with regular program grant, with regular grant programs that are now looking and shifting towards thinking about the 250th as a potential project to be funded. All right, I'm gonna now switch gears and introduce one of our guest speakers. I do wanna definitely reiterate that we're gonna have Q&A at the end. So if there are any questions that folks have, to please throw them into the Q&A now so that we have some time to take a look at them and answer them. I know we went over a lot right there, so there's probably a couple of questions. But the first guest speaker that I would like to introduce today is Mark Roxy from Roxy Ballet. Roxy Ballet performs cutting-edge contemporary ballet to critical acclaim throughout the United States. Incorporated in 1995 as a New Jersey nonprofit organization, Roxy Ballet has a mission to deliver artistic and cultural excellence through professional dance performances, residencies, educational programs, workshops, and master classes. The company takes pride in being a multicultural, all-inclusive organization that fosters a creative environment of growth for all. Passing it on to Mark. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mark Roxy, founder and director of the Roxy Ballet, and I'm just delighted to be here. Thank you for the invitation to be here. And I just wanted to share a little bit about our particular project, which is centered around history, around George Washington's crossing the Delaware on Christmas Eve. And we created a piece that literally depicts what happened. And we kind of go off of the painting of the famous painting of George Washington crossing the Delaware by Lloyd's, and it's really a recreation of that. And what's cool about it is that we're partnering with the Hunterdon County Cultural and Heritage Commission and the Lambertville Historical Society and a bunch of other organizations within the county so that we can celebrate the 250th anniversary. So I think this may be a good time, Mark, if we could just cue up the video to 58 minutes in. I just wanted to share with everyone a little bit about what it will look like. And while the work is not complete, this is an example of our preparation leading up to the 250th anniversary. So have a look.
Washington and the Revolution in New Jersey.
Look, everyone, it's Ballet Red!
Hi, kids! It's Christmas! It's Christmas, and it's a day of what? Miracles. And you want to know what my all-time favorite miracle is? Is when George Washington went south from around here to Trenton, won a battle that was the turning point of the American Revolution. Oh yeah, that happened. It kind of sort of went like this. traveling through New Jersey, and you wonder how the strong abound. Just remember, in New Jersey, the revolution turned around. Christmas Day, when the river freezes round the bend, just remember, in December, crossing that river was frozen thin. Remember Trenton, in the morning light, Princeton, when we marched at night. No blues, no food, we marched on, hand in hand, side by side, striding on. Life and limb, the price to pay, and that spirit still here today. Running tracks, a winter sky, rifle smoke, like ghosts. Through New Jersey, and you wonder how the strong abound. Just remember, New Jersey, the revolution turned around, turned around, turned around.
Thank you so much. Thank you for playing that, Mark. And yes, just to clarify, yes, it was Christmas night. Thank you for that. And so, yeah, I mean, that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions for me, or you just want to chop it up a little bit, I'm delighted to talk more about it. The music was written by Richard Jarbo, who is also a New Jersey resident, and the producer is Robert Sands, who is a 4-time Emmy Award-winning composer for television and film. And it's just a great starter kit for us to get into the 250th anniversary. And really, what I like to do with the end of the work is to try to talk about the resilience of our state and of our country, and the challenges that we face, which are not unlike the challenges that, you know, we faced back then. They're just, you know, they're different challenges, and where do we go, and how do we face the challenges, and how do we remain the greatest country in the world? So yeah. Thank you so much. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you so much, Mark. Our next speaker today is Ari Laura-Creeth from Luna Stage. And Luna Stage develops, produces, and presents vibrant plays about local and global experiences. As a community-engaged arts incubator and professional regional theater, we are committed to reflecting the rich traditions, histories, and experiences of our region. Firmly rooted in New Jersey's Valley Arts District, a crossroads of culture, we celebrate and reflect the voices that surround us. As producer, innovator, and educator, we are dedicated to eliminating barriers to participation, as well as nurturing the next generation of audiences and artists. Our work inspires dialogue and appreciation between and among diverse communities we serve. We inspire conversations that create understanding and change. Please welcome Ari.
Ari, you are muted.
Oh my goodness, so sorry. Zoom faux pas. I was just saying, Mark, that was so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I apologize for coming on a little bit late. We're also in rehearsal today, but I'm excited to get to chat a little bit about the ground on which we stand, which is a historically inspired project that the two photos that you see on your screen are from at Luna Stage. As part of what we do at Luna, every year we do what we call a Secret Cities project, which is a series of plays commissioned, inspired by a specific walkable neighborhood in the region that we serve. And our initial projects looked at the Valley Arts Strip, where Luna is located, and at the heart of Orange, along Orange's Main Street. And then we actually had an archive of historical material looking at Underground Railroad sites in Essex County that was shared with us about two years ago now, sort of in the thick of the pandemic. And so we made a commitment to creating our next 5 Secret Cities projects inspired by Underground Railroad history. And that led us to several landmarks in our region that are not overtly Underground Railroad sites, but are tied to the history of enslavement and emancipation in our region. And one of those sites was the James Howe House. And James Howe was the first formerly enslaved person to own property in Montclair. And I actually apologize, you guys. I'm going to just like pop into a quieter room at this moment because I'm just going to move someplace where I can close a door. Technical difficulties. So James Howe was the first formerly enslaved person to own property in Montclair, and his former enslaver was actually a Revolutionary War hero named Nathaniel Crane, for whom the town of Montclair was briefly named. Montclair was originally Craneville. And so we created a series of monologues that were staged outdoors on the mile-long walk from the Crane House to the Howe House, looking at the history of that space from the 1800s to the present. And audience members kind of chronologically met characters along the way from one space to the next. And then we also staged the piece in our theater as a series of interrelated monologues. And what we were hoping to do was not only to illuminate the journey from history to present day, but also to inspire people to experience the levels of history in the town as they engage with their environment on a daily basis. One of the things that we did not anticipate was that during the creation of this project, the James Howe House actually went up for sale. And so there was a desire on the part of a community-based nonprofit dedicated to historic preservation, and particularly to the preservation of this space, to purchase the home. And it seemed like that bid was going to be unsuccessful, and the house was going to be sold as an unlandmarked space. And then ultimately they actually were miraculously able to purchase the home. So the project reflects not only on the James Howe, Nathaniel Crane relationship and the historical context, but also the contemporary political challenges and ultimately triumphs that led to this organization, the Friends of the Howe House, being able to preserve the space and to begin to explore how it might become a space for social justice in the community. To create the project, we had 12 different playwrights, each of whom wrote for either one or two characters. And if somebody wrote for two characters, they wrote for both a historical figure and a contemporary figure. And the journey itself also involved tour guide characters who guided the audience along this walk and provided additional historical context as time passed between the individual spaces. We also worked with a number of community historians and activists in order to ensure both the historical accuracy and the contemporary truth of the project. And what was interesting in collaborating with multiple historians and multiple community organizers is that there were many different perspectives on a single character or a single event. And so it felt both challenging and meaningful to be in active dialogue with people who might not share perspectives, and to look at how a performance might navigate that in a way that was respectful and illuminating of how, even though we don't always agree on the truth of what happens, our experience is enriched by understanding those multiple truths. I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody might have about the piece or about the creation of the project.
Thank you so much, Aria. I'm sure folks will be dropping questions in the chat and the Q&A. If you don't mind hanging around for a couple more minutes, I know you have a rehearsal today.
Absolutely, I'm happy to hang out.
Thank you so much. So before we open up the Q&A, I just want to reiterate that we do have a couple of next steps. As you've heard, we have a Proud Partner program. We would love if you take a look at the application and see if this is something that your organization can get behind. It is a annually renewed program, but the renewal is very, the process, since it hasn't actually been around for a year yet, the Proud Partner program, it's coming up, I believe, in April when we have a first year review. It's just a quick application that shows, hey, here's how we used your logo. Here's some of the types of programming or events that we've hosted since we've become a Proud Partner. We're really hoping that organizations around the state start working together. I see in the Q&A there's a couple of folks offering space and event space and opportunities to collaborate in that manner. And I think great and amazing, and I hope we get a little bit more of that. Right now, I think it's important for folks to just reach out to different organizations, create some partnerships that might not be as strong as they once were, or create new partnerships to create a big tent that really helps us get the entire state ready for this 250th. And the other thing you can do today is just kind of follow us on our website, revnj.org. If you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see that you can join our newsletter, and that will give you all of the information for upcoming events, including our quarterly update, which is at the end of this month. And then really a big thing that I would love to extend to everyone is open office hours, a way in which folks can reach directly to us and start thinking about ideas and bouncing ideas off of us. I will drop my email in the chat for folks if they wanted to talk about RevolutionNJ. But really, if you have any questions or you need more information, we are here to help you get into the 250th. We're here to help you with any of the sort of programmatic goals that you might be having, and really opening up doors for collaboration. We're in touch with a lot of different folks around the state who are talking now about the 250th, and there's, I think, ample room for collaboration. So with that, I'd love to open it up to Q&A. Thank you so much, everyone.
Mark, I was just going to add one other note to all that terrific information, and that is that we have been working with each of the 21 counties. So there are activities going on now, as far as we know, in almost every county in New Jersey in preparation for this. So your county is another great place to go to collaborate, and we can help you connect to those that are working on this if you're not aware of it already. So just want to throw that in there too.
Thank you, Sarah. And also, we do have social media. If you follow us, we will follow you back and amplify any event that you have. We really would like folks to think of this as a giant networking opportunity too. And just a really quick, I saw Christina drop a question in the chat, being that I'm in there right now typing up my email. The time frame for the events are really from now until technically the commemorative period ends in 2033, but we're seeing this as an opportunity to continue the work in perpetuity. We really want to strengthen and build the capacity of both history and arts in the state. And this is just a really big catalyst for us to do that.
And Mark, I wanted to add to that, because we also have this in the Q&A, the same question, that I just want everybody should be aware that at the national level, the punctuation point, the exclamation point, is going to be around July 4th, 2026. So, you know, that is going to be a big national focus, that date. But as Mark said, we in New Jersey are really, by legislation, called to continue this commemoration right up until 2033. And as Mark said, we hope beyond. So we have, Mark, a number of questions already in the Q&A. Shall we start tackling those?
Yeah, let's do it. Do you want me to read them out, and then we can try to both answer them as well as we can?
Sure.
All right, so the first one is, as a gallery space, is the desired participation for this event to have an exhibition or on display relating to the concept focuses of the event?
Well, you know what? I think the answer is yes. But we also very much don't want to be restrictive in telling you all what you might want to do to mark this. Creativity is what the arts community excels at. So we encourage creative ideas around how you'd like to engage with this anniversary. So an exhibition or display at a gallery space would be fantastic. But if you have a different idea, maybe it's to have at a specific event, maybe it's a spoken word event in your gallery space. You know, we don't want to limit your creativity either.
The next question is, can you reiterate the dates, which we've mentioned, but just kind of giving folks I guess a more concrete timeline. right now people are really starting, like the wheels are spinning. Like everyone's hearing about the 250th at a national level. We had the Boston Tea Party happen in December. So everyone is starting to really talk about it. We're going to be seeing a ramping up of our developed programs at the end of this year. And really next year, you're going to start seeing things like History Happened Here, which is our education initiative, going into schools and folks taking part in it. We're also going to have things such as the traveling exhibit, which is going to be fabricated at the end of this year, and also the genealogy pop-up tent that we have. These are all programs we're creating to bring to the public and have it travel throughout the state. You're going to start seeing a lot more RevNJ centric stuff in 2025 for sure. But this year is definitely where the ramp up is, and already programming has come out from folks for RevolutionNJ.
Good point. And your counties in some cases are already doing some of that programming. So you'll see that beginning to pop up.
Absolutely. Does an organization need to renew their partnership with RevNJ annually? I think I answered that one live. And yes, they would. But once again, it's a very low barrier renewal, and it's also a free program. You don't have to pay for anything. It's really an advocacy, networking, partnership, resource-rich program offering.
And I can add that our revnj.org website will soon have a calendaring function where we can feature all of your events related to the 250th.
We have a question from Tiffany Allen. Can we partner with other groups by possibly donating a venue for their performance?
Yes. I think that sounds great. I mean, I think we're eager to encourage partnerships wherever folks would like to create them. Sounds like a great idea.
And we have a question from Barbara Fox. If my organization created an exhibit supporting NJ Rev goals, is it likely that RevNJ would help us find opportunities for museum display? And that's coming from the New Jersey State Button Society.
Absolutely. So Barbara, I think we will certainly do everything we can to offer advice and guidance. We're very much, as we've already said, eager to build those partnerships. So we can't guarantee to find you a space, but we'll certainly do what we can to help you along the way.
And we have a question from Nancy Madassi. Suggestions for non-performing arts?
Oh my goodness. Nancy, so many.
Sarah's gonna get so excited for this one.
I know, I do. Nancy, I think there are so many opportunities here. As I mentioned, kind of earlier in our time together, the visual arts are obviously a huge place that this work can go on, whether it's sculpture, whether it's painting, whether it's fiber arts. That's just one way. So yes, there's and literature too. There are as many modes of creation as you can think of. We think could be put to good use in exploring these themes. And I also was eager to emphasize that this process of thinking about the past could not be more timely. I certainly have heard that from colleagues around the country over and over again. It's a little scary because we're in a very volatile climate right now with our national and politics, and we've got an election year coming. So yes, there's a lot going on, but the arts and history are such indispensable tools for all of us to explore the issues that are most fundamental to our lives together. So I don't think we can overemphasize the importance of the role that we all play in helping our communities come together and explore these critical topics that were just as critical 250 years ago as they are today. And you'll see some of those topics are included in our themes. When you think about political participation, who gets to vote? Who gets to run for office? Who makes the decisions? Those are questions that we're still grappling with. So what we're doing, it couldn't be more timely and more central to the lives of our communities. Okay.
And I'm just checking the larger chat to make sure that there's no other questions that didn't get into the Q&A portion.
Now I know that there was, and I know, I believe Sophia answered some of these questions, but I did want to pick up on the question from Manda about indigenous tribes and art, and exploring that critical part of our story, both here in New Jersey and nationally. We're extremely interested and supportive of projects that explore indigenous history. So yes, we would energetically encourage projects that encourage that. And I do want to point out that one of our 7 themes is property and sovereignty. That's a theme that is just absolutely designed to explore indigenous history. So in our Bundle of Silences packet, you might take a look at our video on that one that might get you started on thinking about some of the possibilities of that theme. All right. What else do we need to get to, Mark, before our time runs out?
There looks like there's questions about funding or grants directory and a calendar of deadlines for 250th opportunities.
Okay, great. Michael, we don't have a grant funding or grants directory per se, or a calendar of deadlines. If you wanted to reach out to us, though, we'd certainly be delighted to direct you in some of the most fruitful ways to look. And I know there was a question about the NEA program, and we did provide the link to the guidelines. I think that is probably the best place to direct you to get more specific information about that. And Barbara, thank you for that suggestion about a bulletin board or clearinghouse for where we could maybe be a bit of a matchmaker for organizations. That's a great idea. So we will take that back to our RevolutionNJ team and see if there's a way that we could create that on the website. That's a great idea. And we have talked about that in different.
Yeah. I was going to just say that the partner program, when you sign up, we're working on a partner member portal sign-in for the website. So you would have an access to sort of like a message board that has kind of like this bulletin board clearinghouse idea.
Absolutely. And in our last minute, and if we didn't get your question, please reach out to us. We'd love to follow up. And Angel has asked about, are there opportunities to contribute and assist other organizations? Angel, absolutely. And I think Mark maybe gave a great suggestion to look at those list of partner organizations that you can see are already engaged in this work. They might be great potential partners. And I also would go back to your county, because they're also going to be working on activities at the county level and might have suggestions for ways to connect you. And is one of your nonprofits is New Jersey and outside artists, but artists are from outside, I'm guessing, Michael Skelly. And I think that's fine. We're eager to work across state borders in terms of projects, and we do that all the time, actually, in preparing for this, work with our regional partners. And then finally, let's see if we can sneak in providing access to resources such as primary materials. Certainly give us, if you have a specific question on where to find some primary sources, we'd be happy to try to give you some answers and hook you up to some folks and collections that could be of help. So I can't guarantee we'll always have the right answer at hand, but we'll do everything we can to assist you in finding it.
And I would like to reiterate that we will be sharing the PowerPoint and the recording of the video. I know our colleagues at the Arts Council will be sending up a follow-up email with some of the links that we've discussed and more information, including our contact information if you wanted to continue the conversation. I know there's a lot of questions out there that we didn't get a chance to get to, including some information about the pop-up, the genealogy pop-up, and the other programs we have available. I do want to reiterate, if you go to the Historical Commission's YouTube page, we do have our quarterly meetings up there for RevolutionNJ, which have all the most up-to-date information about all of these projects. And that our next one is actually coming up on January 30th at 12 o'clock. And I can send a link. I think actually if you sign up for our newsletter, the link for that particular quarterly meeting will be there.
Thank you, everyone. This has been a fantastic opportunity. I wish we had another hour, but I know we need to send you off to all the other items on your calendar for today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to our colleagues and partners over at the New Jersey State Council on the Arts for helping us put today's program together. We look forward to working with all of you in the days, months, and years to come. Thanks, everyone.